Good day, everyone, and welcome to Jalan-Jalan Cari Kesal with me, Bradley. Today, we will have a special episode for the listeners, and together with me, I would like to welcome Shahrinawati.
Hi.
Hi, Shamiza.
Hello.
Hello, Shamiza. Denny.
Hello, Bradley. Hello,
Yeah,
everyone.
hi. Yeah, and Priscilla.
Hi.
Hi. So, for this episode, we are diving into an insightful article titled How to Waste Millions on Strategy, Common Business Strategy Mistakes and What to Do Instead by Karim Zuhri. The piece explores how businesses often fall into the trap of making costly mistakes when creating and executing their strategies, leading to wasted resources and a disconnect between their goals and the realities of the market. Our central question for today's discussion is strategy a waste of time and resources? As we explore this, we will consider the most common mistakes companies make when crafting their strategies and evaluate whether strategy is still a relevant and valuable tool for businesses, or if it's becoming an outdated concept. Our goal is to critically analyze how strategy is implemented in the current business landscape and whether the time and resources invested in it are justified. So let's dive in it. Shahrinawati, in the article, Zuhri highlights the frequent disconnect between company strategies and market realities, which often leads to wasted resources. What do you think is the primary cause of this disconnect? And does this imply that strategy is ultimately a waste of time and resources?
Uh, That's a great question, Bradley. The primary cause of this disconnect, in my opinion, is a failure to adapt to ever changing market dynamics and shift in consumer behavior. Too often, companies rely too heavily on their past successes or models and fail to properly assess and adjust to the evolving needs of the market. The rise of digital platforms and technology innovations, for example, caught many traditional businesses off guard, and their failure to act in response led to significant strategic misstep. However, I don't believe strategy is inherently a waste of time or resources. So strategy itself is a powerful tool, but it's all about how it approach. The problem arises when companies become too rigid in their strategic frameworks and fail to update them in light of new circumstances. So strategies need to be more agile, more adaptive, and instead of abandoning strategy altogether, businesses should embrace flexibility and adaptability within their plannings. Like frameworks like PESTEL's analysis and SWOT analysis are extremely valuable in helping businesses understand both external factors and internal capabilities, allowing them to stay aligned in the market.
Hmm.
I completely agree with Shahrinawati. One major cause of this disconnect is that businesses don't stay in tune with their customers' evolving needs. Often, companies focus too much on past successes instead of evolving with changing market demands. A perfect example of this is Blockbuster. They failed to shift their strategy to embrace the digital streamlining trend, and Netflix capitalized on this missed opportunity. However, I don't think this means strategy is a waste. In fact, strategy provides a vital framework for companies to grow and adapt with changing markets. The real issue arises when strategy is too rigid or poorly executed, which limits its potential. As long as companies remain agile in their approach, strategy can be a valuable tool for adapting to market changes and seizing new opportunities.
Excellent points, Shahrinawati and Shamiza. Businesses need to evolve with changing markets, but most importantly, their strategies must be executed effectively. Now, Denny, what's your perspective on the halo effect and its role in misaligning a company's strategy with market changes?
Yeah, both Shahrinawati and Shamiza raise crucial points. I think the halo effects plays a significant role in strategic misalignment. Essentially, it's when businesses overvalue past successes, blinding them to the changing realities of the market. Kodak, for instance, is a classic example. They were overly confident in their traditional film business and failed to see the rise of digital photography, ultimately missing out that transformation. This kind of overconfidence in past strategy can make businesses rigid, and that's when they fail or fall behind. Strategy needs to be dynamic, especially in the world where market conditions, technologies, and consumer behaviors are constantly evolving. Companies need to account for this shift and be ready to pivot if necessary.
Yeah, exactly, Danny. The halo effect really does contribute to strategic misalignment, especially when companies rely too much on past success and resist change. When businesses assume what worked before will keep working, they often miss out on important market shift and innovation. The best strategies are the ones that not only provide directions, but are also flexible enough to adapt to the changing in the market conditions. Just like what Shahrinawati and Shamiza mentioned just now, companies like Blockbusters and Kodak fail because they are not agile or proactive enough in responding to the market changes. That's why I believe strategy is not a waste of time. It's valuable tools when used correctly. Key lies in how well it's executed and how adaptable it is. A strategy that evolves with the market can help businesses stay competitive and success in the long run.
Priscilla, I haven't heard much about the Kodak brand in a long time.
Well, Bradley, while it's no longer as prominent in today's digital era, I believe it is still being used in the medical industry,
Right.
particularly for MRI imaging in clinics and hospitals.
Yes, you are definitely right. So, I'm going to ask the second question. Shamiza, the article also highlights that companies often spend an excessive amount of time planning but struggle with execution. So, does this mean strategy is just a theoretical exercise, or is there a way to bridge the gap between planning and action?
Great question, Bradley. Poor execution is often the result of a lack of clear ownership and accountability within a strategic plan. For instance, Blockbuster failed to execute its strategy by not prioritizing a digital shift, while Netflix sees the opportunity. Execution isn't just about having a plan in place. It's about ensuring that everyone in the organization understands their role and is aligned with the overall strategic vision. Strategic plans should not be theoretical exercises. They need to be actionable, measurable, and focus on clear outcomes. Tools like the balance scorecard are great for aligning strategy with execution. This framework allows uh, companies to measure performance across key metrics and link them to the company's broader objectives, ensuring that resources are being allocated effectively. In short, it's not about dismissing strategy, but about ensuring that the strategy is actionable and that everyone in the organization is working toward the same goals.
Bradley, I also want to add in to the question. I completely
Okay.
agree with Shamiza. One of the main reasons strategies fail is because companies spend too much time planning and not enough on proper executions. It's not that the strategies are wrong, it's that the steps to implement them are often unclear and poorly managed. To make execution effective, strategic goals should be broken down into smaller or achievable tasks. This makes it easier for teams to understand their roles and track progress along the way. That's why tools like this balance scorecard are so useful. As Shamiza mentioned just now, It helps turn strategy into action by linking goals to measurable outcomes and keeping the whole organization aligned. It also helps leaders monitor progress and adjust when needed. So in the end, strategies only works when it's put into action. So without proper execution, even the best strategy wouldn't deliver results. That's why execution is just as important as planning in achieving their success.
Excellent insights, Shamiza and Shahrinawati. Now, Priscilla, how can larger organizations avoid the pitfalls for poor execution, especially when managing complex, multi-layered strategies?
In my opinion, I think to prevent poor execution, companies must ensure that their strategy is clearly communicated, especially throughout the entire organizations. I think it's different in departments. If different departments aren't aligned with the overall strategic objective, executions will undoubtedly fail. So it's essential that leaders cultivate a culture of accountability and regularly review progress to stay on track. Breaking down large strategic goals into smaller goals, more manageable tasks can also help avoid execution failure.
Absolutely, Priscilla. I completely agree with your point. I also add that company must be flexible in their execution approach. A rigid strategy with no room for adjustment often lead to failure, especially in today's fast-changing businesses environment. Market condition, customer preferences, and technology can shift quickly. So sticking strictly to a fixed plan can hold companies back. That's why it's important for company to continuously monitor progress and remain open to change. If something isn't working, there needs to be a willingness to adapt and refine the approach. Flexibility during education allow businesses to respond to challenges more effectively and stay on track toward their goals. At the end of the day, strategy shouldn't be rigid. It should evolve with the circumstances. This adaptability is to overcoming obstacle and making sure that strategy leads to real measurable success.
All right, thank you, Denny and Priscilla. We're moving on to the third question. The article stresses that flexibility is crucial for effective strategy. Sharinawati, in your opinion, how can businesses balance the need for flexibility while staying focused on their long-term goals? And does this flexibility prove that strategy is not a waste of time?
Balancing flexibility with long-term goals is about adopting a dynamic and adaptable approach to strategic planning. Instead of sticking rigidly on to one path, companies should break into their long-term vision into shorter, actionable steps that allow them to pivot when needed. So, for instance, like Amazon started as an online bookstore but leveraged its flexible strategies to diversify into various sectors, which kept it ahead of the competition and in line with the market demands. So flexibility doesn't mean that abandoning the strategy. So in fact, it strengthens the value of having a clear, overarching vision while remaining open to adaptation. So scenario planning is also a useful tool here. So companies can plan for different possible futures, making them more adaptable to changes in the market. And the key is to stay focused on their core vision while remaining open to any necessary changes.
Shahrinawati makes a great point. Flexibility should complement long-term goals, not replace them. Companies that can adapt while staying true to their core mission are the ones that will thrive. Google's expansion into AI and cloud computing doesn't distract from its mission of organizing the world's information, but it shows their ability to evolve with fast changing tech landscape. Flexibility actually proves that strategy isn't outdated. In fact, it's an essential tool for businesses to stay relevant and navigate change.
Excellent responses from both of you. It feels like both of you are well prepared for this episode, right?
Yeah, of course, Bradley. We are so excited for this forum.
All
Yeah.
right, good. So, all right, Denny, how do you think companies can maintain a balance between long-term goals and adaptability in their strategies?
Yeah. Maintaining a balance requires strategic foresight. Companies should have a clear roadmap for their future, but they also need to plan for potential changes and disruption. Scenario planning helps businesses prepare for the different futures, which make them more flexible when conditions change. The core goals should remain constant, but flexibility in execution allows businesses to stay on track even as circumstances evolve.
I agree with Denny. Flexibility should never mean abandoning the long-term visions. I think it's a common misconception that being flexible means constantly changing directions or losing focus. But it's about being open to adjusting the approach while keeping the bigger pictures in mind. For instance, the goals and missions of the company. Its core purpose should remain consistent. What needs to be flexible is how the companies get there. Take Google as an example. Their long-term missions has always been to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. That hasn't changed, but the way they pursue that missions has evolved significantly, starting from the search engine to now offering cloud computing, AI solution, and even hardware. Their adaptability in executions allow them to stay relevant without ever staying from their core goal. So, in that sense, flexibility isn't about abandoning strategy. It's actually what keeps strategy alive and effective. It allows businesses to respond to changing customers' expectations, market trend, and technological advancement without derailing their long-term ambitions.
Well, thank you all for your thoughtful insights today. So, here I want to summarize from the almost 20 minutes we chatted. So far, we've tackled the central question of whether strategy is a waste of time and resources. The consensus is clear. Strategy is not a waste of approach with flexibility and execution discipline. Many common mistakes in strategy arise from rigidity, poor execution, and an inherent inability to adapt. So, and however, when executed properly, strategy helps companies navigate challenges and capitalize on new opportunities. We've discussed tools like the balance scorecard, PESTEL analysis, and SWOT to guide decision making, and the importance of continuous feedback and scenario planning. The key takeaway here is that while strategy remains an essential tool for business success, it needs to be dynamic and actionable in today's rapidly changing world. So, thank you again, all, for your great contributions. And I hope to see you again in the next episode. Thank you, and thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you,
Yeah,
thank
thank you.
you.
everyone.
But
Thank you.